Three, two, one. All yours.
Hello, welcome again to Walking the Path with Ian. Today is April the 22nd, 2026. I'm saying that just in case anybody months ahead or perhaps next year suddenly finds this and wants to know when it was recorded. Now, 6 years ago, it was 22nd of April 2020. And at that time, of course, we was all in a lockdown. There was a pandemic. Do you remember? COVID. And do you remember the then Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, said, please go on the front at 8 o'clock and clap for the NHS. Now, I'm not going to say anything bad about the NHS. That's not the point of me mentioning that. In fact, it's the opposite. The NHS does the most amazing job. And in a pandemic, it must have been soul destroying. You just think a person who's trained to save lives suddenly found they could not. Nurses trying to give comfort, but in a very regulated arm's length approach, found the comfort they was given and that person still died. And then, of course, there's our brave boys and girls who were in the ambulance service and also were paramedics. What soul destroying stories they can share of their experiences, not only when they're at work, but the fear of going home and sharing stories with their family and their loved ones. But there is one group of people that never get mentioned every time we talk about the NHS and the pandemic, and that is the hospital chaplain. You imagine this is a person that is a Christian and they want to go into hospitals to pray, to give succor, to give comfort to an individual. But in normal circumstances, I presume it's a lot more straightforward. But we're talking about a pandemic, and that would have been different. Perhaps some of these hospital chaplains weren't 100% medically trained, really, and it's more to do with their Christian conviction that wanted them to work in the hospital system. You imagine this, I'm going to present a scenario to you. You are the chaplain, and there's a knock at your door, and it's a nurse saying, we've got a patient who wants you to come and pray. They're a Christian. And what do? You know the person you're going to meet, he's got the virus. They're on oxygen. That's the only way they can breathe properly. They've got something that could kill them within weeks. And if you are very unlucky, you could contract the virus from them and you could die. Do you stay in your office or do you go and offer prayers and support? Well, that happened. They did give prayers and support. Procedure was you'd go into the isolation area, stand outside the door. You would be put into a long gown, gloves, and a mask. Told to stand 6 feet away from the person, get no closer. If they show signs of distress, then contact the nurse immediately and vacate that area. And that's what an hospital chaplain person would do. They put their life on the line to, to be there for somebody, knowing that person next time they go back could be dead from the virus. But they still did it because their compassion, their Christian belief was so strong, they were not going to turn their backs on people in dire need. Now, some of you watching this are going to go, I've just worked this guy out. I know what he does. Yeah, he goes to this church, but he must be a hospital chaplain, or he's got a friend in church who's a hospital chaplain. Well, with respect, no and no. I'm not an hospital chaplain, and no, I've got no friends in this church that are hospital chaplains. The reason I know is because back in the day, 6 years ago, I was one of those unlucky people to contract the virus seriously enough to be put into isolation in hospital. I survived. Damaged body, traumatized mind. But that hospital chaplain, he helped. His prayers, his support, his willingness to be there. And I'm going to tell you, not just once. He came 3 or 4 times during my stay, standing 6 feet away from me, in his gown, in his mask, in his gloves. He didn't have to do that. He could have turned his back and said no, but he would not. He came and did what he could do. Now, if by some chance you, and you know who you are, come across this, to say thank you to you is not enough. But look, here I am. Your prayers worked. I'm fine as can be. Your prayers were important. Your support was important. Look, be proud of what you've done. Now, I presume, in closing, I want to say this is very important. I presume that other faith groups may have their equivalent chaplains. Sikhs, Hindus, Muslims, the Jewish faith may have somebody coming in to hospitals. And if that's true, and I think it would be, we owe a great deal of gratitude and thanks to those people too for taking time out with their beliefs, their compassion, and desire to help and support people. Well, I hope you like that little story. It's a true one, it's a sad one, but let us all hope and pray never again, never another pandemic. It was a truly terrible time. We do not want to go through that again. So remember, I love you. God bless you. See you next time.
Walking the Path with Ian was a Fry Lane and Braunston Baptist Church production. It was written and presented by Ian Bradwell, filmed and produced by Reverend John Grant. The music was provided by Pixabay, with special thanks to Roman Ranstev.